We tend to look at the gospel as one whole group of principles, and sometimes we do ourselves a disservice by doing this because, like it or not, some principles get more attention than others. And though there's a reason for that, the result is that it causes the lesser-known principles to be taken lightly or forgotten about. And that can be all the difference in our overall success. It's like the idling screw of a carburetor, which sets the proper mixture of fuel and air for the engine, which is now done by computer for the fuel-injected cars. But the concept is this. That car may have a nice design, great paint job, performance tires, leather interior, handles great with a strong engine. But if it doesn't idle, it won't perform and no one's going to want to buy it. Now, I'm not sure how many people even know what an idling screw is these days, what it does, where to find it, how to adjust it. And certainly no salesperson is going to say, hey, check out this latest model. It's sleek, powerful, and it's got a stainless steel idling screw. Want to see it? But either way, it's a vital part of the car. Elder Uchtdorf made mention of a flight out of New Zealand where 257 people tragically died because someone had modified the flight coordinates by a mere 2 degrees. So the small things matter. Getting back to the gospel, if you look at the gospel as a whole, some of the principles get lost because some get emphasized more than others. But if we drill down another level, we see 3 categories, where each of the respective principles reside. And even though some will be more emphasized than others, the mere fact that we see them in categories make them stand out enough so that no principle really gets forgotten. It's like an organized toolbox. There will always be tools that will be used more often than others, just as there will be tools that will be used occasionally. But make no doubt about it, each tool has a purpose that only it can do that the others can't. Categorizing the gospel principles is like having each tool in its proper place to be easily found when needed. Now, the Self-Reliance category has 12 subcategories within it. So if we drill down another level, we will show that each section contains many principles within them. Now, at the time of this video, what you're seeing is a snapshot of the current counter principles. Not all of them have been counted. This is an ongoing process. But look how many principles there are. At the moment, we're showing 450 documented principles, and there are more to go. They're all like these little tools our Father in heaven has given us to help us along our way in life when we need them. But the question is, can anyone name all these principles? Do we know what each specific principle or set of principles and all these are used for? Or do we think we know them because we're comfortable? We don't need to keep pushing anymore, that we've arrived. Understand, a computer science programmer is more capable and valuable as he becomes more knowledgeable in all the various codes. Is it any different with us? In the book, Priesthood and Church Government, by John A. Whitsoe, Rutger Clausen, president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, addressed the priesthood of the church with this comment: to know one's duty is the first step towards performing it. If we can't name these, there's no way we are totally where the Lord wants us to be, no matter how comfortable we are, and we have work to do. We talk about a restitution of all things. Have we considered that this is part of that restitution? Some may say, this portion of the gospel is important, but it's not that important. Well, this begs the question, would the city of Enoch have been translated with that type of an attitude? Could they have accomplished what they did, built the society that they built, and became the people that they are without all of these little tools? Remember, they were all translated, not just a select few and not a little at a time, so they worked at it individually and collectively. And if the city of Enoch were to return, as Brigham Young said they will, do we feel we're prepared enough to receive them, that we're on the same level as they are? Or perhaps maybe we're lacking in some areas still. Keep in mind, Brigham Young said, as Enoch prepared his people to be worthy of translation, so we, through our faithfulness, must prepare ourselves to meet Zion from above when it shall return to earth. So maybe the city of Enoch can't return until we have the same traits as they do, and that includes the self-reliant principles too. And if that's the case, in some weird way, we may be the ones holding up the second coming. But that also means we can hasten it too. Even our own President Schweitzer, who recently spoke at our Why I Believe fireside, said that he had been praying for the hastening of the second coming for a long time. The Spirit finally admonished him not to pray for that. The Spirit said the Lord needed to have a place to come home to, and he doesn't yet. So we aren't quite there yet. Self-reliance is not a very well-known portion of the gospel. Not yet. And it's unfair and a bit ridiculous to ask anyone if they know all of these principles. Of course no one knows all of them. But it was done to drive a point home that we all have more to do than simply coast, doing the status quo that we do until the Lord gets here. The fact that this portion of the gospel is not that well known and therefore not practiced just may be the reason why we are having the types of problems we are in the church right now, why too many people are struggling in the areas that they are and not experiencing the joy the gospel promises them, regardless of how hard they have tried over and over, and why that is leading to their eventual departure from the gospel. And it could also explain why the church isn't growing like it could. You know, Steve Jobs created a product that no one knew they wanted, but once he did, everyone beat a path to his door to get it. And the gospel should do better than that. Obviously, everybody wants peace, harmony, and prosperity. And though the gospel promises to provide all that, too many continue to struggle to achieve it, maintain it, or keep it. And it just may be because of the unfamiliarity of this portion of the gospel. No doubt people know and already follow a number of correct principles, but it's all of them that we're after. In our next video, we will revisit a formula that was previously discussed in a prior video, but in a more simplified way. You can find the link in the description below, as well as links to the other videos about this and our stake website.